Hi, welcome. I'm Richika. I'm creating a follow-up video. I had recently created a video about presencing as a skill, and I thought I would do some elaborating um, about presencing, actually the pitfalls of presencing in this video. Um, and we'll see how it goes. So, before we get started, I'm going to invite you to feel your feet and then to bring your awareness to your legs. Just noticing what you're aware of. You could be aware of your legs feeling light, heavy. You may be feeling like there's energy streaming through your legs. You might be feeling nothing. You might be feeling as though air is moving, cool, fresh air is moving through your legs. You might be aware of some achiness, some pain. So all you're doing is you're bringing some awareness. Then I'm going to invite you to bring your awareness to your seat, to your pelvis. And see what you're aware of. You might feel the weight of your pelvis on the chair if you're sitting on a chair. You might feel like there's tensions there, or you might feel like, oh, your pelvis is relaxed. It's just kind of at ease, full. Bringing your awareness into your belly. Noticing what you're aware of there. Might be some softness, some warmth, some tightness, some fullness. See what you're aware of. Bringing your awareness to your chest. Always really helpful to have your awareness on your breath as it comes in. In particularly noticing your diaphragm. Often our diaphragms are tight. It's a muscle, and it's often we feel it to varying degrees of tightness or relaxedness. But mostly our diaphragm isn't just expanded, open, boundless. So noticing that. Bringing your awareness to your back. To your arms. To your shoulders. And to your whole body. And really inviting you to feel what this feels like. See if you can go a little bit deeper into your body. See what you're aware of. Might be a sense of freshness, lightness, ease, softness. So I'm going to invite you to continue to do this, just staying aware of your body as much as you can, and also hearing me. And as I talked about, what I'm going to be talking about is some of the pitfalls. So one of the things that comes to mind in terms of pitfalls is that often when people are talking to me about their thoughts or their feelings, whatever is going on in their lives, I invite them to notice what is happening in their bodies. And people will tell me, yes, I feel my body. Or yes, I feel my body and I feel a tightness here, or I feel something happening here. I feel some fear here. And they mention it, and then they're back out of their bodies, into their thoughts, into continuing to describe their thoughts or their memories or their feelings. And they're like, oh, I presenced. So presencing is actually more. It's actually really resting your awareness in your body. You're cultivating the simplicity of presence. We're not trying to figure anything out. We're not trying to feel a certain way. It's cultivating the simplicity. So, for example, I went out for a walk today, and it was beautiful. It was the morning time. It was sunny. It was warm. The birds were chirping. And cultivating presence is that presencing is feeling my feet moving, my feet hitting the ground, one foot after the other, feeling the muscles in my legs, feeling the warmth of the sun as it kisses my skin, feeling the gentle breeze again on my skin, moving through my hair, listening to the birds chirping. And we're not trying to do anything, not trying to figure anything out. This is what relaxes us. This relaxes the nervous system. It unwinds the ego and its patterns as we cultivate the sense of presence. It's a practice. So, the first pitfall, as I mentioned, is I feel my body. I go back to my patterns of thoughts, feelings, dissociation, really, from what's here. This is the slow path. It's not the path of driving very fast through our inner psyche. It's slowing everything down. To see what we're cultivating, what is here. We're cultivating listening. We're cultivating being present to what wants to arise. Okay. So, just inviting you to notice, again, what you're aware of in this moment. Taking breath, sensing your body. Taking your time. I'm going to continue to speak. The ego is often going in the opposite direction to presencing. So oftentimes, talking about another pitfall, for example, I'll have people that I'm working with, and they'll talk about how they're feeling their feelings, and it's just like, oh, this is real. My feelings are real. I've been feeling a lot of grief. I've been feeling a lot of sadness. I've been feeling a lot of lostness. I've been feeling a lot of anxiety. And, our feelings, there's some reality to our feelings for sure. Definitely. We have them. But oftentimes, sometimes, what happens is that when instead of actually feeling our feelings, we become our feelings. This is a difficult concept to describe. So I'm feeling really lost in this world. I'm feeling lost. I don't feel like I have a sense of direction. I'm feeling I don't know which way to turn. I don't know how to make my decisions in my life. I'm lost, for example. And I try to just be maybe a little bit of a different example rather than feelings leading to thoughts. Then I start to think, oh, I'm going to figure out my lostness here. I'm going to figure out all the things that I could be doing to get out of this lostness. And maybe I can change my career. Maybe I can change my relationship. Maybe I can change something. I can change my routine. The idea is like, oh, okay, so there was the inkling of lostness that was arising, and it got co-opted by thoughts, by trying to figure things out, by planning. What that does is it's winding up our systems, winding up our bodies. Our egos are winding us up. We're winding up into thinking. We've lost presence. We're no longer aware. Oh, as I was thinking, actually, my pelvis started to wind up. I didn't even realize that I lost awareness of my breath. I just became my thoughts. And it's a difficult thing. It's very difficult to catch ourselves in something that we do. So we have to interrupt the process a lot of times. Be like, oh, I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to plan. I'm trying to get the answers from my mind by tensing and winding myself up. Because maybe I don't have trust that if I actually just relax, that maybe inspiration will arise. Maybe I'll start to get a sense of direction internally. So let's come back to the feelings example. Talked about lostness, going into thinking, figuring things out, planning. Feelings example. So, say my feelings are sadness. I'm really sad. And I'm thinking about or feeling my sadness, and it just takes me down memory lane a lot. Oh, this happened 2 years ago. There was a moment that I felt so alive, and now it's missing. It's so missing. I'm so sad. I don't know how to get out of it, really. The sadness just takes over. And I just think, oh no, I'm so hopeless that what I experienced 2 years ago is just not going to return. I'm just doomed to be sad forever. That was a time, it's gone. And again, we just kind of not in presence as we go into this whole thing about how hopeless things are, how much sadness I feel, how there's such a I have grief. I mean, of course there's grief. I don't want to say that we don't have any feelings at all. But it's very difficult to catch when the ego co-opts a process. I think I'm talking about some difficult to catch. They're really difficult to catch and to understand unless we deepen our practice of presencing. But I'm really hoping this is going to be supporting you in some way. So, what do we do when we have sadness, when we have grief? When, we feel a sense of hopelessness. So, really, the idea is again coming back, sensing, feeling, including yourself fully into the moment, not just becoming the feeling, but like, yes, I'm having a feeling, and here's my body. Here is my breath. I'm aware of my legs, feeling full. I'm aware of my pelvis, feeling nice. It's warm. I'm aware of my diaphragm, feeling tight, perhaps. Just giving an example. Oh, the sadness is in my diaphragm. I'm aware of it. I'm not focusing solely on my diaphragm. I'm focusing on all of my presence. All of it. I'm aware of the lightness in my chest. So I'm in awareness. I'm not trying to make my sadness go away. I'm not trying to hold on to it. I'm allowing. I'm being. I'm listening. And it might be that, as I stay present, that maybe I start to notice more of that sadness in my chest, more of it in my throat. And I realize the tears are rising because I'm sad. And I can feel the tears flowing down my face. And I can feel the experience of sadness. There's a softness. Really, sadness can be so soft. Sadness softening the body. Becomes almost like sweetness of grief. I'm not off anywhere. I'm staying with myself. Let's try for another pitfall. So another pitfall could be I become, I talked about I become my thoughts, I become my feelings, I become my body. So what that is trying to think about a way to explain this. So let's try this. I am paying attention to my body, and I start to notice I hear this often actually working with people. The heart is beating very fast, and the heart is beating very fast, and they start to become very scared. What is wrong with my body? Is this a health issue? Is it something is wrong? They get very anxious, or they get very scared of the sensations that they might be having in their bodies. Other sensations, for example, or they really focused on how to do everything possible to feel comfortable in the body. And the reality is that sometimes we have experiences in the bodies that don't shift right away. So for example, somebody who might be holding their diaphragm tight might be walking around having an awareness of their whole body, all of it, including the diaphragm, that's tight. And they cultivate a sense of like presence with this. Oh, okay, this is, I'm curious about it. I'm curious about the tightness in my diaphragm. Maybe I need to massage it or see if there's a way that I can release it. But really having a relaxed awareness, because a lot of times the patterns of holding in a body are habitual. They've been there for a very long time. So they don't always, when we become aware of them, they don't always release. So how do I cultivate this awareness of, okay, this is what it is. I'm not sure exactly what is the holding in my diaphragm. But I'm also not going to become very anxious about it, or think like, oh my gosh, something is wrong. I mean, of course, it's important to make sure that everything is okay physically, but also that some of these are like patterns, like holding, that we have, as I mentioned, that we've been holding for a long time, for years. So, how to again cultivate a sense of curiosity about the sensations in our bodies, how to allow them, how to allow the discomfort without the ego co-opting it again, how to have the awareness without becoming our bodies, the sensations in our bodies, how to develop awareness without becoming the thoughts that we have or becoming the feelings. Another kind of, I've been pointing to this as a pitfall as I've been talking about the different aspects of presencing, but I'm going to name this a little bit more directly. So, one of the pitfalls of presencing is looking for what's wrong. You know, I talked about looking for what's wrong in terms of feelings, thoughts, body experience. And presencing, it's very important in order to relax our bodies, to relax our systems, to really cultivate the desire to presence and to presence, is by focusing on positives, pleasure. So it's not about focusing on what's wrong, because that, again, it really is a recipe for being co-opted by that's the ego a lot of times. So it's really about cultivating a sense of positive and pleasure. We're not trying to figure anything out. We're not trying to go anywhere. We're just being present. It can be boring, especially sometimes it can be very boring. We're used to in our lives moving at a fast pace, so it moves very slowly. You know, you're not gonna have insight because you presenced for a minute. It's like taking your time, really taking your time. What happens when we first presence is that it is going to release sometimes the negative stuff. And what we want to try to do is create ways to connect with what feels good. As I talked about earlier in this video, I went for a walk. Oh, wow. It was the temperature, felt so good on my skin, the sun, the slight breeze, listening to the birds chirping. It's pleasurable. So what we want to do is that instead of being very entangled with what's wrong, what we're cultivating is the sense of ease, the sense of the positive. We aren't manipulating our thoughts or feelings or sensations. We're just kind of opening up. So I think this is a very important aspect of presencing, is focusing on the positive. Otherwise, if you focus on the negative, if every time I presence I just focus on, oh my gosh, my diaphragm is so tight, it's hurting me even, I can't breathe, every time I try to take a deep breath, it's so achy, who's gonna want a presence? Or let me figure out what's wrong here, let me really tackle this issue. No, wait, stop. What am I looking with my eyes? How do I see beauty? I face a window. Am I seeing beauty outside? Am I seeing the lushness of greenery? Am I looking at some beautiful flowers, plants? Very important to nourish ourselves. The ego is not going to necessarily want to go that way. So it's our jobs to train. The other aspect is curiosity. Now, this is something that I've also hinted to in both this video and the last video, is curiosity. And curiosity is, okay, I'm also not going to dissociate from the fact that I have tightness around my diaphragm. I'm going to hold it as part of my awareness. Not all of my awareness, a part of my awareness, with some curiosity. You know, there might be times when I'm presencing where I'm just focusing on my whole body and my diaphragm starts to reveal what it is that it's holding, what feelings it's holding, what fears it may be holding, what sadness it might be holding. And so curiosity is, oh, I feel my whole body, I feel my diaphragm, I feel content, memories, images starting to emerge without losing presence. I stay connected to my whole self. I stay connected to my body. I stay connected to my breath. I stay connected without having the ego co-opt it. It starts to speak. Our bodies, a lot of times, they're holding different feelings, different memories, different images. And it's only through presencing that the wisdom starts to reveal. Oh, what's here? What's here? Which really is connected to another pitfall. And the other pitfall is that oftentimes people will tell me that I am doing this. I am going to the gym and everything becomes quiet and everything is released. I feel better. Or I am doing this meditation so that I can relax. And the idea is I am going to do these things to get rid of whatever's present. And this is, again, it's a skill to build, is that we're not using presencing to get rid of our thought. We're not trying to get rid of our thoughts, our feelings, our sensations. We're not doing that. We're not trying to become nothing. It can lead to feeling like, oh, I feel my legs, I feel nothing in there. It can lead to that, presencing. But that's not the goal. With presencing, what we're doing is we're cultivating, as I talked about in my last video, a sense of inner parenting. The parent being partly awareness. Awareness of what's happening inside of us. Not the removal, not the distraction. It's really trying to be present with now, what's here. It's not getting rid of our grief. It's bringing presence and awareness to our grief. All right, so I think we'll stop for now. My name is Ruchika Mehta, and I am a licensed psychotherapist and a spiritual mentor. And if you feel like you would like to work with me, feel free to reach out. And also, if you'd like to potentially hear about any future groups that I might be doing to cultivate presencing, feel free to sign up for my email list and let me know how it goes for you in the comments. I hope this video has been helpful to elaborate a little bit more about the importance of presencing and the pitfalls that we get into. May this really support you to cultivate a habit. Really, one of the most important habits that we can have. May this support you to cultivate the habit of nurturing and nourishing yourself through presencing. All right.